Today, I'm going to teach you guys how to brew an American brown ale. Very simple. We're going to start with a recipe, and I've got myself 5 pounds of dry malt extract, and this is the extra light dry malt extract or Pilsen Light. And then for specialty grains, we've got 10 ounces of chocolate malt. We have 8 ounces of carapils, and then we have 4 ounces of caramel 60 Lovibond, and we have 3 ounces of Victory malt. All American ingredients. And then for hops, we're going to be using Brewer's Gold hop pellets. We're going to be using 4.08. And then for Centennial pellet hops, we're going to be using 5.82. That's going to be 20-minute boils. And then we're going to be using 2.4 AAUs, and that's going to be a 10-minute boil. So that's pretty much it for ingredients. No, it's not. I forgot the yeast. We're going to be using Denny's Favorite 50. So that is pretty much it for ingredients. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to start preparing everything. I'm going to get my water to steep my grains, pour my grains into my muslin bag. I'm going to prepare my sanitizing solution, all that kind of stuff. And then we'll go ahead and get started, and I'll show you guys how to go about the entire process. All right. So the first step is we're going to be steeping those grains. Basically what we're doing is we're going to be soaking these grains in hot water, and that extracts all the sugars out of them. And then once we're done with that, we're going to be adding our malt extract. I add a little bit of water to harden up the water because I have a water softener, and it takes off like all the minerals. I have that in reverse osmosis. So this is kind of like brewing tea in a way. You just have the bags just like sit there, and you don't want to like squeeze the bags or anything. So now what we're doing is we're going to be heating up water here, and we're going to use that water to rinse off the grains that we're just steeping. And we stayed right around 154 degrees, which is like perfect. This is just like rinsing out the grains, usually about a cup will do. Now we're going to be topping off with water. We're going to be using about 3.5 gallons. After we top off with the water, all we're going to do is we're going to take our malt extract, and we're going to be adding a total of 5 pounds of dry malt extract, and we're going to be bringing that to a boil. When you're pouring this thing in, you have to stir it kind of right away because it clumps up and becomes a pain. And this thing started to boil, almost boiled over on me, but got it off the heat fast enough. Your beer will like starts to like rise up. Just get it off the heat as fast as you can, otherwise you'll get this horrible mess. Anyways, we're going to be adding hops, and we're going to start our timer and boil this thing for 60 minutes. And then we're going to be adding our other hops. So, usually when you first add hops, this thing tends to like agitate, so if your boil's already kind of going strong, you want to kind of watch out and stir this thing so you don't do another boil over. So you can stop that. We'll be back 40 minutes from now, and we'll be adding our other set of hops. We have 20 minutes to go on the boil, so our initial hops boil for 40 minutes. And now we're going to be throwing in these hops, and the reason why we're going to throw them in at 20 minutes is because all the oils are not going to be evaporating, so we're going to get more flavor out of the hops. So we got 20 minutes left. We're going to come back in 10 minutes and add the last set of hops, which are going to be more of our aroma hops, but they're going to be very, very little. It's been 10 minutes since we added our last set of hops, and we're going to be adding our last set of hops, which is 10 minutes before the end of the boil. So all the other hops have been boiling for 50 minutes. That was the first set of hops, and the other ones have only been boiling for 10 minutes. And in total, they're going to be boiled for 60, and then 20 minutes, and these are going to be just 10 minutes. These are going to be more for aroma, and that's why we're adding them 10 minutes before the end of the boil so they don't boil off. So the boil doesn't boil off all of the oils, which is where the aromas come from. But the only drawback is that they're not going to be adding too much bitterness to the beer, but that's okay because we added enough hops before then. So with that being said, our last step is going to be to add Irish moss 5 minutes before the end of the boil, and then we're going to cool this thing down. We're going to pitch our yeast and we're going to ferment it and be done. It's been about, how long has it been? Half an hour?
Half hour, 45 minutes?
Yeah, it's been about 40-45 minutes. This thing just cooled down. We got down to 58 degrees, almost 60 degrees. So we're going to be pitching our yeast, and we're going to take a little sample to measure our gravity, and we're going to leave the beer fermenting for 3 weeks, and we're going to be done. First thing I gotta do, I guess, is get rid of this side board. The reason why I always do a yeast starter is because it lets me know that the yeast is good and it's alive. So I wouldn't have started brewing this beer if I would have known the yeast is bad. This step is called aerating the wort. We're basically gonna get oxygen into our beer or wort. It's called wort. And what that does, it allows the yeast to start growing initially, and then we're going to just top it off with water and we'll feed it the yeast. So you want to pour this back and forth a couple of times just to get a good amount of oxygen going in. This is just plain water. Okay, that's about right. It's a little higher because there's foam in the beer, but that is about 5 gallons. You want to make sure you mix all the water with the wort. Every time you stick something into your beer, you want to make sure it's completely sanitized. So you just get about half a cup to sample out the beer. I got my half cup here. We are at 1.056 original gravity, which is right where we want to be. I want to get rid of all this beer and just keep the yeast. I want to leave just a little bit of beer to be able to get the yeast out of the starter. You want to make sure it's sanitized because the beer is going to be touching this. And now what we got to do is mix up all the yeast with the beer, and we'll be good to go. And this is really the hardest part about brewing, is shaking this bucket that's pretty heavy. And it looks kind of weird when people are filming you, so we're going to take a little break and come back in a couple of minutes. We're going to be doing a beer tasting for the brown ale and the porter today. We got Chris and a bunch of other people tasting beer. Go ahead, open it up. Everyone's got a cup?
I don't have a cup. I told my mom because I was like, oh, I want to be on the pod.
Heather's going to start.
Heather? All right.
What am I having? I had the first one.
They're both brown ales.
Oh, they're both brown ale? Okay.
So they're basically dark chocolate flavored beers. It's the easiest description I can give you right now.
It's smooth.
It's actually really good.
There's not a bitter aftertaste. The aftertaste is really good. It kind of tastes like coffee, but not really.
It does taste like coffee.
It's got a coffee, yeah.
Yeah?
Coffee undertone.
Okay.
It's actually a dark beer. Yeah.
Say that one more time.
I like dark beer.
A dark beer, it actually.
It doesn't taste as dark as it looks.
Oh, yeah.
I don't like dark beer, but I like this one.
It's good to hear.
think you're right about the
Rocks
coffee.
my world.
Rocks your world.
It's got a good smell.
Yeah. So dirty.
Agreed.
I can't pick that up.
Jason, you had anything to say?
No, Chris is killing the light. I know, it's definitely very good beer. As far as brown ales go, just the hint of coffee is great. I'm not a fan of coffee flavored beers. Just the right amount of hops for the bitterness. I would say this is definitely one of the best brown ales I've tasted.
Should we clap?
Only
good
brown
here.
ale I like.
Well, thank you.